We are live. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm just setting up so that I can turn Instagram on. There we go. And hopefully you can hear me. That's my most important question this morning is, can you hear me? And yesterday I had no sound. So that was a problem. And because I had no sound, I wasn't able to broadcast live. So whoever, we just had a few people join us, not very many yet, but if you could, let me know if you hear me. Hey, Lorna, thank you for that. So good to be heard. I am excited about today. I was excited about yesterday too. And, you know, as I said on Monday, that really what I'm trying to do here is get back into a routine as far as live streaming. And I used to do it at night for a couple hours at a time. And what I was inspired by a Steal Our Winners episode I did recently by this gentleman, Felix Pren, who has a YouTube channel and is able to get over 1,000 registrations a week for a webinar and has been doing that for over a year just off the back of his live YouTube show that he does every morning. And so I love live streaming. It's actually really something I enjoy quite a bit. As an introvert, it's kind of weird that I might like it, but it's a way of actually getting a chance to talk to a bunch of people. And in general, my morning routine is pretty isolating. And so actually, something I wanted to talk to you about today kind of leads into it, actually. That makes no sense, I know. So let me explain. Today, what I wanted to talk to you a little bit about is AI and how you use it. And I also wanted to kind of share some ways that I use it. And hey, Jim, hey, Lorna, and good to see you guys. And hey, Chris Chico, thanks, Chris. Glad I got the audio working. It was the strangest thing, by the way. The audio was working fine on my side. I tested it. It worked. I went live. It didn't work. I stopped. I tested it again. It worked. I recorded something. It worked. I went live. It didn't work. So I just eventually rebooted my computer, and now it works, and it works fine. Anyway, so as I was saying about AI and how you use it, and how does that lead me to this, what I'm doing right now? Well, I wrote a report about over a decade ago called The Hidden Obstacles to Success. It was one of my client reports. You know, I'm known for my free public reports, but I wrote a lot of client reports. And, you know, in those client reports were things like when we first invented the automated webinar and me explaining how it works and why I thought it would be like the future of online marketing back in 2008, right? Anyway, I wrote one client report that was about the mental game of entrepreneurship. It was called The Hidden Obstacles to Success. And in it, I reflected on the clients that I had that were most successful versus those that weren't and what the difference was. And I actually got more positive feedback from that report, from clients at least, than any other report I wrote. And, you know, like I said, I wrote it over a decade ago, and we all can slip at times. And I found myself in a place when I recently where I was struggling a little bit. So I picked up that report and started reading it, and I felt like I could be more the recipient than the writer these days. And so I loaded it into ChatGPT. I took the whole document and I put it into ChatGPT. It's about 110 pages. And I asked ChatGPT to be the world's greatest psychologist with the most amazing insights. And that I wrote this report, you know, over a decade ago, giving advice to entrepreneurs of what I thought would make them most successful. And now that I'm reading it 10 years later, I could use a lot of the same advice. Will you help me through it? And it did. It actually asked me how would I like to proceed through it. And I said, you know, page by page, exercise by exercise. And what was really interesting is that I was going through the exercises. It would be making commentary, like psychological commentary, that I found very illustrative. Anyway, one of the things that I was complaining about was how I start my day and how I'd like to start it better. And it was ChatGPT that suggested maybe I return back to live streaming and do a live stream in the morning. And so I just thought that, you know, I learned a question from Jay Abraham a long time ago, right? And that question wasn't something he taught me, it was something he did, and he did it consistently. And that was asking people what's working, right? That he would start every conversation, instead of, how you doing, what's new, or something like that, he'd ask what's working. And it occurred to me that if you talk to 10, 20 entrepreneurs a day and you're asking what's working, by the end of the day, you might know something that you didn't know. And so that's a very powerful question. And it really, like, you could kind of say that question was the basis for me creating Steal Our Winners. So that was that question, right? What's working? And I say that nowadays, when you're around other entrepreneurs, a great question to ask besides what's working is, how are you using AI? And are you using, ChatGPT, Claude, Anthropic, any of those? And if so, how are you using it? And could you show me? So, for example, I remember about, about 6 months ago, when I was hanging out with Mike Filsaime, and Mike Filsaime had his iPhone, his action button connected, and I've done the same since, but had his action button connected to ChatGPT. So he would just press the action button and then just start talking to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT would start talking back. So he would be having an ongoing dialogue with ChatGPT, throughout the day. And I was like, oh, that's a really good idea. And I've done that a few times. I've done it also. Another friend of mine told me that they often will have brainstorming sessions with ChatGPT while they're driving their car, because, you can put it in audio mode. And what's cool about that, I've tried that too, is that you can do like a brainstorm session. Let's say you got like a half an hour drive somewhere. And when you get to where you needed to go to, right, that whole conversation that you had, just speaking to the speakers in your car and it's speaking back, is all like, in a thread in ChatGPT. So anything valuable that came out of it can now be extracted. My point in it is that I think that there are so many people that are experimenting and playing around with different ways of using AI. And quite often, it could be someone it could be a friend of yours that's doing something cool that you don't know about because you haven't asked. So I try to have conversations with AI all the time. And I try to really have conversations. The coaching program not my coaching program that I did back from 2002 to 2012, but the coaching I do today, which, is much more exclusive, and I only work with a handful of clients, but it's called Decision Partner. And it's called Decision Partner because ultimately that's what I become. I become the entrepreneur's decision partner, and we start making a lot better and more profitable decisions together. I think of ChatGPT not as a decision partner, but as a thinking partner, and one of the best thinking partners that you could have. I did another Steal Our Winners not that long ago, actually. Let me pull up the name because I don't want to be insulting to the person. It was with if I can find my Notion link. I cannot find my Notion link. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I'm looking for this so I can tell you about this episode. Now, let's see. All right. So who was this person? I'm looking now. No, it couldn't be this far back, could it? No. Micro, 4 frameworks. Tony Ladig. Tony Ladig. I did an episode with this gentleman, Tony Ladig, and what was interesting about that was how much he was using AI to help him create the prompts. So it's like, hey, I want to create a complete marketing plan for this company. And he would give it like he would explain the output that he wanted, and then he would ask ChatGPT to create the prompts for it. Then he would ask ChatGPT to make the prompts even better and more specific, right? And then from there, then he'd run it. And the whole idea behind that was that you're never going to come up with the best prompt possible. And that instead of trying to come up with the best prompt possible, learn how to get ChatGPT to give you the best prompt possible once it's clear what the output is. And my point in bringing that up, right, is not just that. It's that we have this amazing tool in front of us, right, that is not necessarily like completely obvious how you could most benefit from it. And everyone who has an interest in it is finding a way to extract value for themselves. And if you're not asking people what they're doing, right? Maybe some people are not doing anything. Okay, well, then there's no conversation there. But not asking people, like I was really kind of fortunate that I got to see Mike Filsaime do that, because I got to see him do it. And then I was like, oh, I want to do that. And I could see how valuable that would be. Had I not seen Mike do that, I don't know that I would have ever thought of that. And that's my point, right? My point is that it's a great question to begin asking people. How are you using AI? Are you using any large language model? And what are the conversations like for you with it? What are you trying to accomplish? And is there a way that you could show it to me? Because that will help you tremendously. So that was the kind of overall strategy or valuable thing that I wanted to share with you this morning. This morning, I woke up as I normally do at around 6. I jumped rope for a little bit. Then I went for a walk with my girlfriend, which was really nice. Generally, she doesn't join me, but she joined me this morning. And then what else did I do? I did made breakfast and took all my supplements and nootropics and peptides and turned on the computer. I had an interesting kind of conversation with my girlfriend last night on a walk, and I just questioned whether I should go into these kinds of things or not. And the reason I say that is that, I'm more of a right-wing kind of person. I definitely don't want to spend my mornings talking about politics. But there does seem to just be a common thread of, I'm not going to go into it. You guys tell me at some point if you want me to talk politics and give you my perspective of what's going on in the world, but I will reserve that for right now. So anyway, my point was that I'm doing this every day. I'm doing it from 9 to like 9:15, 9:20. And my goal with this is to eventually lock in like a kind of show, right? Like where I do the same things every Monday to every Monday. Every Tuesday is a different kind of thing where we cover something else, and really kind of make it a much more predictable thing than what I'm going to be covering each day. I have no idea what those things are going to be. I have no idea what would maintain people's interest. I have no idea really what things I could bring to the table that you would find most valuable as far as how to start your day. And so I'm coming into this with really no preconceived notions of what I should do or not do. The only thing is that I should do is be here every morning, and it will start to occur to me, or I'll get some more feedback from you, and you'll tell me what it is that you would most like to hear in the mornings if I'm doing this, because that is my goal. My goal long-term is to ultimately develop a show with this. And so I'm here, and we're going to talk about different things every day. And what's kind of cool, so I'll just share this with you guys now, is that December 19th, my family and I are heading down to Nicaragua. We'll be down there for about 2 weeks. We will be staying at Mark Ford or Michael Masterson's house down there. The last time that I spent more than a week in his house down there was my 40th birthday. I tend to travel down there quite often with Mark Ford and AKA Michael Masterson, but we'll be down there from December 19th to the 29th, and I'm planning on broadcasting from there. So if you've ever wanted to see what Rancho Santana looks like, or what Mark or Michael Ford or Michael Masterson's house in Rancho Santana looks like, join me during those days, and I'll be broadcasting from there. And that is it. So I think we went to 9:15 today, and my goal is not to bore anyone. My goal is just to drop some knowledge and then jet. And so, like I said, we will just keep it tight today. We'll talk about what we talked about, which was, how are you using AI? Start asking the friends that you have about how they're using AI, and ask to take a look at how they're using AI. If I shared how, like, the reason I'm even doing these live streams is because AI gave me that suggestion based on going through the hidden obstacles. You could take any book, you could take any workbook, you could load it into ChatGPT, and you could have ChatGPT take the perspective of that author and actually work with you personally through the book, right? You can do what Mike Filsaime does and have a button on his phone that actually opens up ChatGPT, an action button, into audio mode so that he can automatically have a conversation with ChatGPT. You can use ChatGPT as a thinking partner, the way I do, and have like deep back and forth thoughts about different things that are important to me. The point is that you have a great tool at your disposal. Odds are you're not using it as best as you could. And if you used it better, you'd probably benefit more. So with that said, to higher profits and beyond, I will see everyone, hopefully, that's here today, plus some more people, extra people tomorrow. But I'll be here tomorrow at 9 a.m. And I hope to see as many of you back, and look forward to looking at the chat. And if you guys have any suggestions for me, please put it in there. We're broadcasting live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Twitch. That's where we're at right now. I don't think we're on TikTok. And that's it. So have a wonderful day, guys. To higher profits beyond, Rich Schefren, over and out.